Welcome to the Plush Life, and thank you so much for joining us tonight. You might notice that right now I am on location rather than in studio, and I'm here with the beautiful Amanda Horn, who's the Director of Communications for the Nevada Museum of Art. Welcome to the show, Amanda.
Thank you so much, Jen.
You might also notice that we're here on Saturday night at 6 p.m. rather than Sunday night at 6:30 p.m. And Amanda, you know how people love their football.
Oh yes, we cannot compete with that, I am afraid.
When Sunday night football comes on, we move on over to Saturdays to make room because we want people to be able to watch both, obviously,
right?
That's right. So through football season, you'll find us here on Saturday nights at 6 p.m. But this is exciting, and we're here at the Nevada Museum of Art because you guys have something very, very special going on. You've probably seen some of it in the press already, but here on the Plush Life, we do long, full features. So you're going to get to see a lot more than you've probably seen in the past, enough to make you want to come and visit for sure. So I'm going to ask Amanda, just kind of give us an overview of why this is so unique, why it's so important for people to see it, and what you guys are doing here.
So Jennifer, Tahoe, A Visual History has been almost 5 years in the making. This is the first comprehensive art exhibition that has ever been organized by any institution anywhere, and it spans 200 years of creative and cultural production specifically related to Lake Tahoe, Donner, and the surrounding Sierra region.
And you guys here at this museum, you actually put it all together. Your people spent 5 years putting this together.
Yes, this exhibition was masterminded by our senior curator and deputy director, Ann Wolf, and she put this narrative together and figured out what art was being made out there, what tells the story, how can people learn about the history through art and develop an emotional connection to place, because that's really what art does for you.
Yeah, it really
and
does.
we have more than 400 artworks in this show, spanning everything from photography to historic painting, washoe baskets, the largest collection of washoe baskets ever assembled, contemporary art, and architecture.
Now, it's hard for people to understand the magnitude when you're not actually in the building looking at it. We're going to try our hardest with our cameras tonight to show you visually how spectacular this really is. But I don't think that unless you actually come down and look at it for yourself that you're going to really get the full impact of it. But there is a lot of history, and you were telling me history about the basket making that I didn't even know. I mean, such an integral part of life back then, and just used for so many reasons. These baskets were used to carry babies and to fish and all kinds of things, and just really, really educational for the children, for the adults, for everyone, correct?
For everyone, whether you're from here, whether you've just visited here, you love this place. It, again, understanding the art history of a place helps you connect to it at an emotional level, and really then you develop more pride in it. And then as you'll see as we move through the galleries, you can then approach contemporary challenges that we have, like drought and fire management, and understand how artists are responding to that and what we can do to kind of help drive the future of Lake Tahoe and our region in a positive and sustainable way.
It's going to be spectacular. So this is how tonight's going to go. We're actually going to be here at the museum all night through the show. We're going to come back from break. Amanda's going to take us through both floors of this exhibit. Of course, we have 2 other wonderful features here tonight that are educational and fun as well, so you're not going to want to miss those. And then Amanda will rejoin us back at the end of the show just to clear up any things that we might have missed as we did the walkthrough. So you're definitely going to want to stay with us for the whole show tonight.
Well, as I was telling Jen earlier, this exhibition is the first of its kind and truly a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity. These works have never been shown before together and probably never will be again. We start at the beginning with the Washoe people, the first people making culture at Lake Tahoe. Basket making was a way of life for the Washoe people. And then after the arrival of the Euro-Americans, basket weaving transformed from a utilitarian craft into a fine art form. Here at the Nevada Museum of Art in Tahoe, A Visual History, you will see the largest collection of washoe baskets ever assembled in one place. And then we continue both through time and through theme. We have early maps from John Fremont and Bruce as they were figuring out what was in the West and reporting that to the United States government, a first edition of Mark Twain's Roughing It, and then we move into the golden age of landscape paintings. Once the West started to open up for people, then painters who were making very successful careers in the Hudson River School style on the East Coast started coming out west, and Lake Tahoe became a favorite subject matter almost immediately. You will see when you go through the numerous galleries showcasing some of the finest works from Thomas Hill, Albert Bierstadt, Thomas Moran, Key, and others, that they were making God's handiwork very apparent in their paintings. We take you all the way through to when the railroad arrived and how Donner Pass became an obstacle that needed to be surmounted on the insatiable push toward the west. Not everything about progress is always warm and fuzzy and celebratory. We also have some parts of history that Chinese and Chinese American artists are addressing, particularly the Chinese labor contribution to the railroad over Donner Summit. As you move down on the 3rd floor into the North Feature Gallery, you see a whole section on timber, industry and the sound of the saw. Because once the Comstock lode was discovered and we needed more wood for the mines and for the people who had started to show up to live there, almost immediately, lumber barons rose to the top of the ladder. In a very short time, we almost deforested Lake Tahoe and quickly had to figure out how to sustainably manage the resources so that we could enjoy the lake for years to come. The objects in this show come from all over the world. Numerous private collections, major museums like the Metropolitan Museum of Art, the Smithsonian, the Field Museum in Chicago, the de Young. We even have a painting that normally hangs at the California State Capitol. You really are going to be quite surprised, blown away, and we hope leaving celebrating the great history of our region. So in a little bit, we're going to take you down to the 2nd floor and show you what treasures lie there. Now we are on the 2nd floor of the Nevada Museum of Art, inside the Tahoe A Visual History exhibition. While Civil War raged in the eastern United States and Tahoe's lumber industry rose to prominence to service the Comstock mines, Tahoe's culture began to transform into one of leisure and resort. On this floor, you will see how prominent architects, national and also from the Bay Area, began to develop private resorts for folks who were beginning to build second homes. We also see some of the finest resorts of the day, like the Tahoe Tavern, which was built by Walter Danforth Bliss, the son of Duane Bliss, the lumber baron, that really ushered in this resort culture. As Tahoe became easier to access, not only by rail car, but also by automobile, many of the nation's finest photographers and artists also started to make their way to the region. You will see as we go through the galleries how some of the nation's finest photographers, finest artists, and others were starting to come to the region and really starting to transform it inside of the American psyche. You will see beautiful homes and even a summer colony designed by Frank Lloyd Wright for Emerald Bay that never got realized. You have to come inside to learn the story of that one. Of course, as these private residences began to pop up around the lake's shore, they needed art to decorate their walls. And many of the works in the show they would have purchased for decoration. As we continue through, we finally end in the Altered Landscape Gallery. Well, you will see how in just a few short decades, this tourist culture also created a balance of resources. Transportation's become an issue, and finally, water, as we will show you in the close of the show today. Again, Tahoe A Visual History is on view through January 10th here at the Nevada Museum of Art. There are so many pieces to take in. We know you're going to want to visit again and again.
All night tonight because we are still here in the Nevada Museum of Art, this spectacular exhibit on Tahoe. It spans 2 floors. We started on the 3rd floor, and you mentioned that that's because that's the beginning of the historical period.
That's right.
Made our way down to the 2nd floor where you took us through that floor, and now here we are in what you're calling the water room.
That's right, the water gallery. So we really end kind of with where we're going in the future and one of our precious resources, what the lake represents. And for all of us who live in the region, it's water. And this could not be more timely, Jen, since we all know, unfortunately, we are in a drought. So seeing how artists and work with scientists to create works that help us really reflect deeply on this current situation and what we can do to move forward in a sustainable way.
Yeah, absolutely. So this, I mean, I'm just going to say it again. If you're not standing in here, I know you're loving what you see, but you have to come in here and see it because it's spectacular. And your members actually get free entrance to all exhibits.
That's right. Members get in free all the time at the Nevada Museum of Art. And if you've ever been on the fence about becoming a member or weren't quite sure, this is certainly the time to take advantage of that membership. We also have an amazing book that we produce to accompany this exhibition. You get retail, it's $85. You get a member's price on that. Whenever you join, you get 10% off. And also you always get member pricing on our museum school classes.
Now, if you're not a member, you can still come and see the exhibit,
Of
though.
course, it's open to anyone. Admission is very inexpensive. We're open Wednesday through Sunday, 10 a.m. until 6 p.m.
That is the one thing I love. Your memberships are extremely affordable. And, not only do you get to see the exhibits at no charge or come to the museum for free all the time, but you get to support the arts in our community, and you get to be feel proud for doing that. So I love
That's
that
right.
about it as well.
Thank you so much. Yes, we are the only accredited art museum in the state of Nevada, so truly it is a gem, and we certainly appreciate our members. They are the lifeblood of this institution.
Absolutely. So I know you guys saw a lot of great stuff on the show tonight in addition to this exhibit. I hope you loved everything that you saw. I just want to remind you that we will be on Saturday nights at 6 p.m. until after the football season is over. So thank you so much for joining us tonight. We hope you loved the show. Thank you, Amanda, for allowing us to come in and do this wonderful story.
Thanks for being here.